Okay, I wanted to take just a few minutes to talk to you just briefly about TestOut. And if you've had me in previous courses, you pretty much have an idea how this works already. But if this is the first course you've had with me, this is the first time you've used TestOut, this should be something that kind of helps you out. So if you go over to our Blackboard shell under homework, you'll see a lesson over or an appendix over TestOut. And this is just basically kind of a rundown of what the process is to register with TestOut and how it's going to be used in this class. So the pertinent information that you really need to know is all right there. So what does it look like? Well, if you click on this link, it's going to take you to this website right here. And the one we're really interested in for this class is the Linux Pro certification. So if you want to learn a little bit about the certification, just click on find this particular page. It tells you a little bit about it, what it's about, what the certification is, how it's tested over. This is pertinent for your final exam, by the way, because it's the certification exam that's used for your final exam. And so there you can get some information about it. To take this course, what you end up wanting to do is, I'm going to actually go to the TestOut homepage because I know where everything is there. Here at the bottom we have a spot for the promotion code. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy and paste that promotion code. I'm going to hit Control-C on my keyboard, come back over here and Control-V to paste it. And what that's going to do is take me to this next page in which it shows all the academic pricing of their various products. So it's a pretty substantial discount. I think the normal price is $495 or something like that. But the one we're specifically interested in this course is the Linux Pro course. So you can see it's dropped that price down to $89. Add that to your cart, and then you're going to go through the purchase process. This is from a previous video I created, so I'm going to remove that. And so you're going to go through the process. You click checkout. Now, something I want to point out, this may be confusing to you, there's actually two steps in this whole thing. You're purchasing the product here. Another step is to actually create a TestOut account, and then you have to associate those two things. So the way you're going to associate those two things, if you're a returning customer, just log in right there. If you're a new customer, you'll fill in your name here and your address, and you need to insert the school name and the teacher name right there. So just copy and paste this information right here. You'll go ahead and go through next and go through that process to finish actually making your purchase. Again, this just completes your purchase. It doesn't actually create an account. So once you're done with all that, it's going to give you an activation code that you're going to need. That activation code is going to be inserted right in there when you go to create your account. So you create a login, your username, password, first name, all those kinds of things, and you paste in or type in your activation code right there, and that's going to associate your account with your purchase. The last little bit that you need to do is associate your TestOut course with this particular class within TestOut. That's what I've named it for this semester. If this happens, if you're watching this during a different semester, obviously you'll rename that to whatever happens to be in this spot in your Blackboard shell. But that's kind of the naming convention that I use. And at that point, you should be good to go. So having done all that, let's go back to TestOut here and go ahead and log in and show you what the TestOut environment actually looks like. Pardon me. So let's see here. So again, we are in the lab sim environment, or the TestOut environment. So I'm going to click on My Products. If you've not registered before, then you'll just have this one class that you just purchased. In this case, it'll be right here. I've got multiple ones associated with my account, so click there. And normally what will happen is this will start up at the very top of here the first time you open it. Otherwise, it'll open the last place you were. So it starts out in the introduction. This very first section, section 0, really is just an introduction to TestOut. It tells you how to use the environment. It talks about the simulations that are going on, the demonstrations, all of those kinds of things. So when you go through some of the videos, whether they're demonstrations or they're lectures, they'll provide you with the opportunity to play just the video or to play it with an interactive script. Personally, I like the interactive script, and I'll briefly play it here so you can kind of see it.
The introduction and adoption of the Linux operating system has been a really interesting thing to observe. Now, understand that when...
So that's kind of the environment that we have going on here. I'm going to go ahead and scroll on through. You'll see that there's other lessons that they show, demonstrations, simulations, and all of those kinds of things. Your grade is actually going to come from two components within these various lessons. They're going to come from short little tests that they give you, usually 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. Some are more, but they're just multiple choice type questions. And then these labs. You can do them as many times as you want before the due date and time. I encourage you to do that. That way you can maximize your score. As far as the lab environment here, click on that and I'll show you around the lab just a little bit, the simulations a little bit. So this will open up, and this is about as close as we can get to really kind of a live test environment. So in this case, it's going to open up to a particular window here. It's going to tell you exactly all the various things that you need to do, and you can, if you want to maximize, you want more room, you can do that, and you can go back. Now it really depends on the specific lab as far as what you need to do and the type of environment that you're going to be loaded into. One of the things that I found helpful, though, is if you're struggling with figuring out what to do, if you go ahead and hit done, it's going to grade it for you right then and there, and you can get your feedback. And it tells you specifically what it is that you need to do to be able to get your grade. So you can go back and redo that lab again. If you want to see that score report again, just click right there. You can print it out, which sometimes can be useful again when you go back to redo the lab itself. So that is the lab environment. It's really a pretty slick product. Students usually really love it. One thing I do want to kind of point out is that there's an order to these labs, but if you come over here and you look at the way we've got them lined up, they may not be in the exact same sequence. I usually try to line them up with what we're doing in a particular chapter in the text. So keep that in mind. Be sure and make sure you know which test out we're working on during a particular week. So let's see there. Actually, I may have realigned those just to make life a little bit easier. But so keep that in mind. Take a look at that. Something else, if you've had me in a previous semester, something I've recently started doing, you can download your grade file from TestOut, and I can't actually do it here on my end because I'm an instructor. But you can download your grades as a CSV file, as an Excel file, and that's what I want you to do. So when you go to submit a file, what I want you to do is download that CSV file to your shared Google folder that you've created as part of Homework 0. With it in there, I want you to share it with me. So download it into there, into your shared Google folder, get the share link for it, and then come in here and type in, I think this was Homework 2 that I put in here, type in Homework 2, highlight it, paste the link in right here, and then set it to open in a new window and click on Insert, and then submit the file. Again, don't do it down here. You won't see the appropriate text box. It has to be under Write Submission to be able to get this text box. That way it's just kind of a backup. Every now and then, very rare occasions that I've had students say that they've completed the assignment, but it doesn't show up on my report from TestOut. If you've done this, if you've submitted that CSV file that has your scores in there, you're going to get your full points. If you haven't submitted it and it doesn't show up in my report, you're going to end up taking a 0 for that particular assignment or whatever score the TestOut's reporting. So keep that in mind. That's about it for the TestOut environment. I really like TestOut. We've gotten some really good feedback from students about it. They really seem to enjoy it. So hopefully you have a similar experience. And I'm looking forward to the semester. Have a good one. Take care.